This is the Euphoria Breaker. This tool is for helping you break out of the euphoria and get contact back with reality quickly. Specifically, we want to address the pain versus the illusion of pleasure when it comes to dealing with the euphoria. So take a moment and acknowledge that you're in euphoria right now. Acknowledge your fantasy. Acknowledge and admit to the person you think they could be, or that they really are, if they would just change. And admit and acknowledge that this is your point of view. This is not, in fact, reality. Instead, it is a fantasy. And it's something that you hope for, but it is not something that is real. And if you could, would you just give yourself permission to admit that, to see it, to understand and acknowledge it? And as you do that, give yourself permission to acknowledge how it really feels to be treated the way you've been treated by this individual. Acknowledge what it is like in your body when you're around them. Acknowledge the fear, the tension, how small you might feel, how on edge you might feel. And despite the euphoria, these sensations and feelings are quite present as well. And give yourself an opportunity to acknowledge the pain, the emotional heartbreak, the mental torment, the confusion and overwhelm that you feel so frequently in this relationship. Acknowledge how this relationship makes you feel about yourself, about your worth, about your person. And acknowledge that if it's shame or guilt, worthlessness, that these are signals of abuse, that you have been abused by this individual, that you have not in any way earned this treatment, that who you are did not create this treatment. That what you've needed and wanted did not create this treatment. This treatment is a product of their thinking, their psychology, their operating system and has nothing and never has had anything to do with you. Give yourself permission to acknowledge that and even trust it a little bit. And see how that feels. It can be very disorienting. That is normal. It can be very angering and sobering. That is normal. You may find your mind go blank. That's normal too. Simply acknowledge what shows up. And allow yourself to acknowledge the pain that you've been enduring in this relationship. Because it is that pain that is the truth. Healthy relationships do not produce this pain. Only abusive, neglectful relationships produce this pain. The pain of fearing them, of being hyper-vigilant and wondering when the next shoe will drop. The tension in the body, being on guard and being braced. These are signals of abusive relationships. Give yourself permission to acknowledge the situation you're in and the relationship and its nature. The euphoria is a fantasy. The pain is your reality. This completes the Euphoria Breaker. Proceed to do the sane-making process or use the sane-maker tool, depending on which PDF this is linked in, and acknowledge reality so that you can make the loving, kind, and caring decisions for you. Thank you.